Hey everybody, it's Matthew of Mr. Domestic, where we spread joy and positivity through sewing and fabric play. In this video, I am going to show you how to make your very own insulated lunch box. What? Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was able to do it and turn it into a tutorial for y'all. This is crazy bananas. It has an exterior zipper, opens up for all of your food and storage needs. You don't have to use it for lunch. You can use it for supplies, anything that you want. I'm definitely already going to make another one of these. So if you are here to make your very own lunch box, then before we get into the content, anytime you're enjoying this, make sure to give it the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. These are most of the supplies that I'm going to use in this lunch box. The first thing is this batting called Insulated. I had no idea that they had specific batting that you can use for insulation. This one cannot be used in the microwave, but you can wash it and even like tumble dry it. So I'm really stoked about having a lunchbox that I can wash. And then these are the cuts, and don't worry about capturing this information now because there's going to be a static cut and fabric and supply requirement on my blog. But this is a 9x9 square, 2 for the lining, 2 for the outside, and then 2 of the Insulated. And then this is 1 strip for the outside, 1 for the lining. This is 27.5 by 3. And then I have 1 cut here. And then these are for the back hinge part. This is 5.5 by 3 3/4. And then some Insulated. And then this is for the handle. I cut a little sliver of Insulated. This is 8 by 2, 2 of them. And you'll see all of this over on my blog when you head there. And then clips, I'm definitely probably more than likely going to use clips. And then I probably will use glue somewhere. Then I do not install a zipper unless I use Wonder Tape, so I'm definitely going to use this. And you will need a 28 at a minimum inch zipper. And I'm using like a parka zipper, but I don't want it to separate, so I'm going to like stitch it there so it doesn't open. I just like the wider teeth. I think that's cooler for a lunchbox. And I have to go shopping to get a longer one because this one's a little too short. So if it changes colors in the video, it's not magic. I just went shopping and they didn't have what I wanted. So now I am going to quilt this. I don't need to quilt like in video, but I'm going to take one of the front. I'm not going to use the lining for the quilting. And I'm just going to quilt over with these attached for all of the exterior pieces, and then I'll bring it back and I'll show you how to shape the exterior and interior and get more sewing done. I totally have quilted all of the parts that I needed to, and I went to the store and I totally got a newer zipper. I'm really more excited about this one. This one's a 30 inch, so it's definitely going to be longer than the 27.5 inches that I need. And so I'm just going to show you what I did here. I only quilted the exterior onto this insulation stuff, and I left the lining open. Just it'll help with how I'm going to sew some of the parts, and I think it'll just look cleaner on the inside. So I did it to all of the components here, this, and this. So there's 4 pieces that I quilted. And what I'm going to do now is 2 things. I'm going to trim these. I'm just going to show you how I trim these. And I can do them all at the same time, actually. Flip them here. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to prepare this handle before I top stitch it. So I kind of just eyeball it, and I found that like this is a good size curve. It's a Wonderfill Deco Bob spool. And I just take this on the edge and I'll draw a little curve here. Right here, like so, and I'll do this to all 4 of the corners. And actually doing all 4 right now of these pieces, I'm gonna separate it, do 2 and 2. It's too bulky for me, so this way I'll do all 4. This is just a great curve estimate here. And 1 more. And if it's not perfect, whatever, no one's gonna notice. Okay, and so now I have this right here, and I will cut it. And just having a curved box makes it so much easier to sew the zipper on. then you're not having to worry about corners or any of that kind of stuff. So there's this. I think you get the gist of what I'm doing here. You'll probably get more of a precise curve if you use scissors. I know some of y'all are probably freaking out. Like, he's gonna cut his finger. He's gonna cut his finger. No, I'm not going to. I promise. I've only done that like 2 or 3 times. But there's one, and now I would do it to the second one, and that's just preparing both the lining and the exterior of both sides. And now there is this part. Don't need this. Close it when you're done. So I'm getting my ironing mat. I have this like wireless Black & Decker iron. It is amazing. So with these 2 pieces, I cut these 8 inches by 2, and then this is 6 inches by 1. So it's gonna fit right into the middle, right here, because this excess is just going to be attached to the bag, and the rest is going to be the handle, and I just don't want it to be too bulky. So this is where my glue, I knew I was going to use glue, and I will use glue here. Almost like I'm English paper piecing with the insulation batting. And then I'm going to fold this over here, right here, just to get this good and set. And this way it's like really like hugging up against that insulation. Then I'll press it, like heat set the glue right here. And now this one is good. Good-ish. It's good enough. And then the same one here. You can just get one fold started right here. And then I will use clips on this just because I want this to be like ting ting. And I'll clip this here. Making sure that these are lined up right there. Maybe use 3 clips, one in the center, one on the edge here. And then I will go ahead, flip it this way, and fold this. Just gonna use this crease right here so I know where it is. See how I used that? This was already folded and pressed, but now they're set and they're good to go. I don't really need to clip this side because I'm gonna sew this side first, but now, see? Lined up. Lined up. Now I'm going to top stitch this and do some more sewing over at Felicia. So I have top stitched this part, which is the handle, and that's the first thing that I'm going to attach here. And just to make it easy, I'm just going to fold this right here. And this is the exterior part of the loop, not the top or the bottom, but the loop. I'm finding the center here. And then where is it? I'll just mark it with a pen right here, just so I can see. And that is the center. Here, put it right there. And this right here, this is where I'm gonna bring in my glue. And where the top stitch is, this, fold this over. Remember how the interfacing didn't go all the way to the end? I'm gonna fold this over. So use some glue on this, boom, boom, boom. And this all washes out, it's not permanent glue, so if you give it a good wash, it's fine. And this is gonna make it so much easier to attach. Right here. Like this, and I am doing that. And then one other thing, whenever you do this kind of fold over jazz, is that you're gonna have like, see right here, how it does that? That's gross, and just, you wanna eliminate that, so I'm just gonna snip that off. It's gonna be trapped underneath with a stitch. I'm gonna do like a box stitch with an X in the center to attach it, so you don't have to worry about it weakening the handle at all. It just makes it look cuter. See? Now you can't see it. Okay, now you want this to be somewhat precise, and so I'm going to fold this over to find the center line here, and you can finger press this. It should create a nice crease that you'll be able to see where the center is, and it's almost on this line. This is a Frixion pen, so that'll iron out, no big deal. Then I'm gonna do the same thing to here. I've pressed this here, Let me find the center. Oh. I'm gonna mark it here, just to make sure to get it. The center here and here. And you could just put it right here and call it a day, because we're just gonna attach right here to create a handle. But depending on the size of the hand will depend on how much like leeway in between the handle and that you want. So what I'm going to do, measure this. This is 4.5. So this right here is 6 inches, because that's how long the interfacing was. And this is 4.5 right here. So I'm going to use that as my guide. Bring this here. I'm marking the center right here so you can see it. And then I'm going to bring this, make sure that it's aligned on the center here. I'm going to pin it. And then find that center again, right? Because it will shift. And that's the center. And then I want this to go right here. And then I think depending on whose hand, regardless whether they're big or small, that will create enough of a lip to where you can put your hand underneath it. And this will make more sense once I stitch this. So now I'm here to attach these two ends, and I drew a little X with the pen so you can see what I'm going to do. This, as you can see, is going to cover up all of this. You don't have to worry about that showing, and this will give it a nice little finish here. And I do not have the lining piece here, so I'll show you how I do it. I have it just on standard settings. Drama box. And if you've never used a Frixion pen before, it's an erasable pen. So once I get this done and I iron it with heat, irons are always used with heat, then it will disappear and you will be fine. So right here, and then you're going to go over one diagonal. And you're going to have to double dip on one of the straightaways and try to sew over the line just so it's clean. And then one more diagonal. I'm going to go ahead and back stitch here. And then hopefully you can, how do I get the light? You see it? Whoa. Oh, there it is. See? Like that. And then I'm going to do the same on this side and then remove the pins and you'll see it. Now I'm going back over to my now it is time to install the zipper. But look, see the handle. That's what I was talking about. Yay! So this one is two-sided, but let's pretend like this is the front of the zipper. You want the front to be on the outside. So I would then flip it over. And this is where I'm going to use my Wonder Tape. I'm going to put this right here, right on the edge, and this should lay on the inside of the seam allowance. I'm using 1/4 inch seams for this bag, which is more narrow than I would generally for a bag, but I just feel like it'll be cleaner and then I won't have to trim. So, okay, Wonder Tape to the rescue, right here. Ah! Sticky. Okay, so this is the front. And now I'm gonna flip it over and see how this is longer than this. I just love doing that. It makes it easier to sew when I do that. I'm gonna line this up to the raw edge. So the front, it's like front sides together, and then stick this to the raw edge. Like this, and it should be tacky enough the first press, and then I'm going to steam to set it with some heat. Like this, because then I'm going to put another layer of Wonder Tape on. And I do not install a zipper without Wonder Tape. It is a game changer, lifesaver, amazing invention of the year, according to me, whenever it was invented. Okay, so now that is attached. And now you're going to sandwich it with the lining. So I need one more layer of Wonder Tape. right here. Ding, ding, ding. And once again, make sure to get it like right there on the edge, since I'm doing the seam allowance so narrow at 1/4 inch. And this is 1/4 inch, so this all should be right inside. That's all you need. And like that. And then right here, make sure that this lines up here to the exterior. Like that. Good. There we go. And this is all lining up perfectly. And then I'm going to heat set it one more time. Heat set this with some steam. Make sure it gets through all of the layers. High heat, high steam, because that's the best. And heat set the rest of this. And now I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and stitch up this right here at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I've brought this over to my sewing machine, and just so you can see what I'm talking about, why I use a longer zipper, I unzip this all the way, and there's so much excess here that I'm never going to have to maneuver around this. So I'm not even going to put on the zipper foot here. I'm just going to use the guide here on this walking foot to ensure that I get 1/4 inch seam right here. There's enough layers to where it's going to be fine. And I'm going to speed through, fast forward right here. Now I am to the end, cut this here. And now what I'm going to do is fold these over right here. And I'm going to top stitch right here just to really secure this. It's not a necessary step. I just think it's going to add a little bit extra zhuzh, and I'm all about the zhuzh. So let me start on this end. You can take it to your iron and press it if you want to. I'm not going to do that. Here. Yes. See, I'm not using any special foot. I'm going to fast forward. Okay, so now we are going to sew the hinge part to complete this tube, and doing that we'll need to make a sandwich of the two hinge parts going right sides together, and in between that have that lined up to what we just sewed, with all of the exterior pieces lining up and the interior pieces lining up. And I am going to sew this at more than 1/4 inch. This is the one seam that I'm going to do more than 1/4 inch. It's about 1/2 inch, and I do it slowly. See, if you do it slowly enough, it's going to go right through the zipper. It'll find a way and maneuver in between the teeth of the zipper, and you're good to go. And so do this on one side. I'm actually going to reinforce the seam, not now for you, but I'm going to stitch it again. See here, this is one. Boom, see what we've done? Ding, ding, ding. And then now, and this is the tricky part, but I think it's going to look much better if we're able to do it. So line this one up here, right? I just took it to the other side. And then this side, this right here, this is where it gets tricky, and you're gonna have to pull on it. And it's gonna feel weird, but it's going to make the seam so much better. See how I did this right here? And I'm lining it all up, and I'll show you how wonky it looks once I get all of, I'm going to unzip it. Boom, 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 get that zipper out of the way. Line this up here, line this up here, clip this, and there's enough room in that hinge part. See, this is what it looks like. It's very wonky, but this is gonna make the seam so crisp and so much better than if you would have like folded it over and used Wonder Tape. This is just going to create a really crisp end. Show you. Okay. See? Now, boom, shake the room. See, the hinge part is done. Now we're good. I'm going to top stitch over here, right here, just like I did the other. Top stitch on both sides, and then I'm gonna go over to my mat and show you what to do next. Okay, now this is all we have left of this lunchbox to sew together, and the tube is done. This is the front and the back. They're both the same, so you really don't need to keep track of which one is going where. And the first thing that we have to do is measure. And of these two things that you want to be in the center, you want this, the handlebars. Is it called the handlebars? What's it called? The handle? You want this to be centered, right? So I'm putting these two like this just to make sure that they are centered. And then I'm going to mark the center point here. Right here and right here. Once again, this is a Frixion pen, and then I'll finger press this, mark the center point here also. And I'm doing it on both sides because you'll need to know for both sides when you sew, right? And then what I do with this is with these center points, I'll match up. See here, I'm matching them up to make sure that they are in alignment, and they are. Let me just double check one more time. And then I'll mark here. And this is going to get you the center point on each of the 4 sides of the 2 exterior pieces. Then we're gonna clip there. So, okay, this is done. Ta-da! And then now we need the center of this. I am going to mark on the back because it's easier to fold. I'm going to fold it here. You finger press it and then open it up, and you got the center here, center here. Then I'm going to do the other center here on this side, right here. So I have these points, and then I want to make sure that this is going up and down, so those are the ones that need to go on the hinge and the handlebars. So turn this right side in, and now we are going to pin. So just line up all of the marks that you made and clip. I know I said pin, but I'm clipping. Clip, 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 clip. And then here. There we go. And if you wanted to baste the lining onto the exterior piece, it would probably make this a little easier to do the markings and stuff. And there. Okay. I'm showing you this in real time just so that you can see how I'm doing it, catch any tips. Okay, so those are secure and good to go. And FYI, the perimeter of this, the entire like going around the tube, should be 32 inches. And it should allow you to do 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. So I'm going to clip here before the curve starts to happen. So on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine. So I'll fast forward now. Okay, so now FYI, I did totally go back and I basted, and by basted, I used a 5mm stitch length and just connected those, and I can pull it out later. It was just a hot mess without doing it. So that is not one of those places that you want to try to save time. Baste, baste, baste. All about that baste, baste, baste. So now I'm going to stitch around here at 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm gonna show you the zipper side because that is the more difficult of the two sides around the corners. So I'm gonna see what happens when I get there. I might need to score the zipper. And by score the zipper, I'll cut it around the corners because it's not, there's no pull, there's no, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Like right here, make sure that it's less than 1/4 inch. So it's inside the seam allowance, but I'm scoring it, see, with some little slits, just so it goes around the curve better and it will pull. Oh yeah, I can already feel the difference. And then, see, I'm just gonna maneuver it. This is probably gonna be the hardest sewing part, depending on the zipper you got. But it's gonna look so cute, and it'll be worth it. So, now let me finish going around the curve. See, whoop whoop, you can do it. So maybe if this is your first time, like I've used these kind of zippers before, so this isn't like creating a lot of like negative emotions for me. But if you've never sewn a zipper or made a bag, I would totally suggest using like a universal zipper or something that's easier to sew through at a curve, because it's that curve that is creating the issue. Oh yeah, this is gonna be cute. And then see the zipper here, you are gonna have to deal with the zipper and moving around, but that's fine, no big deal. It's all gonna be cute. And how I'm going to do this, and then after this I'm gonna fast forward, is I'm just gonna stop and I'm gonna unzip it. I'll do that now. Backstitch. So there's gonna be one part where it's not gonna be a continuous thread. But knowing me, I'm probably gonna break my thread along the way, so. Get this back in here, and I'm going to continue sewing and scoring as I go. And then that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna show you the other side, so that's all for now. Okay, so I have finished sewing all the way around, and this is where I am going to conclude this tutorial. And yes, that's giving you an ugly inside. It's gonna look cute on the outside. Me, I'm probably going to bind this with more narrow binding tape than I generally use on quilts, just to make it cleaner, and call it a day. And if you've never bound before, then this isn't the project to have as your first binding project. Do a quilt first and just keep it ugly on the inside. And then one additional thing I thought of, like this zipper, I think it looks better with the zipper being right on the top, but if you don't want to deal with the zipper to make it more beginner friendly, then I would add like a section in between the zipper and here, kind of like it is here. Just add maybe 1 inch, and then you won't even have to maneuver around the zipper. So let me turn this right side out. Once you zip it up, no one's gonna know any different. And you can make your own lunchbox. And honestly, this is cute enough to where it's like, you don't have to just use it for a lunchbox. You can use it for anything that you want it to. Like supplies, good stuff. It's actually a lot sturdier than I thought. Dude, yeah. You have the ability to make your own lunchbox. Never in a million years that I think that I would ever be able to make from my brain to my sewing machine an insulated lunchbox, or translate it for all of you to have a tutorial, but it's here. It's a little late for school this year, but go ahead and make one. I think I'm going to use this one for supplies and stuff, not even for food. But if you enjoyed this tutorial, got a laugh or a tip or a trick or two, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Keep it positive, y'all. Mr. Domestic out.